I'd now like to introduce the recent return from Wisconsin, the president of the Capital District Area Labor Federation, Mary Sullivan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, brothers and sisters. We are union. We are 24/7. We never sleep. We're working somewhere every day. And we are taxpayers too. When I began my career in public service as a child welfare caseworker in Herkimer County, I listened to the brothers and sisters who were there before me, and they told me that in the days when there was no union, they would go to the county legislature after a meeting among themselves. They would come up with one item. They would go and say, can we get a $50 increase each week this year? Can we get an extra holiday this year? And maybe they got it, and maybe they didn't. And then came CSEA. CSEA, my union, AFSCME, my union, organized those workers. And they didn't beg anymore. And we aren't going to beg anymore either. It's about the right of working people to decide they want to get together in an organization called a union and have that union, after listening to what they need and what they want, go to management and say, with respect and support from their membership, this is what we need, this is what we want, this is what we demand. I got back from Wisconsin on Wednesday, and the mood there is very, very high. The spirits are high, and they're not from drugs. The people there are together. You see firefighters next to steel workers, next to bricklayers, next to the public employees that Governor Walker is trying to put down. They're standing together in that rotunda. I had the honor to speak there twice. And what I heard them say was this: show me what democracy looks like. And the return was, this is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Brothers and sisters, we stand with our brothers and sisters in Wisconsin, with the public employees and all union members in Wisconsin, because if it happens there, it can happen anywhere, and it can happen here. So my brothers and sisters, we will not be moved. We are here to stay. We are the unions, the mighty, mighty unions.
Next we have the president, Ken Brynan of the Public Employees Federation. Hello, brothers and sisters. They can't hear you in Wisconsin. Hello, brothers and sisters. We're here supporting them in their right to live the American dream. What is democracy in this country? Democracy is you elect people to represent you and to negotiate for you and to lobby for you with the people that make the decisions. We elect members of Congress to deal with the president. We elect the state legislature to deal with the governor, and we elect union representatives to deal with the boss. an attack on our basic right to negotiate fair wages and fair benefits is not just an attack on democracy. I think it's an attack on America. We need to make sure that whatever bad things are going on in Wisconsin right now, that not only do we support the workers, we work to make sure that that disease does not spread. We work to make sure if they try to have this happen in Indiana, we support Indiana. If it's going to happen in Ohio, we support Ohio. And if for any reason they try to bring that to New York State, we will fight to keep it out of New York State. This is probably, in the 20 years that I've been in the union movement, this is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's union busting, clear and simple. If you read the news articles about that, what's disgusting? Union busting. What's disgusting? Union busting. What's disgusting? Union busting. I know some of the unions here, some of the other groups here have actually sent people to Wisconsin to witness firsthand and to participate personally in the actions going on there. I'd like to bring up a member of the Peff family, Margaret Messer, who just came back from Wisconsin to talk to you for a couple of minutes about her experience. Margaret?
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Are you energized? Are you energized? All right, I was asked today to come and share with you some of the things that happened when we were in Wisconsin. I had the honor of what I saw. I arrived late, I was stuck in snow, I was a little frustrated, but certainly not for long. I walked up the hill towards the Capitol to 10,000 people marching down the road, united on one point. Do not take away my rights. They were proud to wear their union colors. They were proud to be part of union organizations as well as community organizations. And they just stood behind that point. Do not take away my rights. As I watched with amazement, I found it hard to choke back the tears. And just then I heard it erupt from the crowd. This land is my land. This land is your land. As I sat there and I heard that, it made me realize how proud I was to be a citizen of this country, to have that very right that people have died for. And this governor was making a decision to take that right away. Not just from those citizens in Wisconsin, but from each and every one of us. Scott Walker has to what? Scott Walker has to go. Hey, ho, ho! Scott Walker has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Scott Walker has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Scott Walker has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Scott Walker has got to go! I had the honor of meeting many of those Wisconsin state citizens. They were amazed that they were receiving support from all over the world. There was money coming in from Cairo, Egypt, from each and every union in this state, from Germany, from England. They were supported by the entire world. It didn't matter what race, color, or creed, whether they were the union president, a union member, whether they were AFSCME, AFT, CSE, it didn't matter who they were. It didn't matter if you were a homeless man. Everybody was united for one single purpose. There is no way that I could possibly express the power and the energy and the solidarity that I felt there that day. But what I can tell you, brothers and sisters, we cannot back down. They started a movement, and we have to continue that movement. They sent a very clear message to the citizens of New York State. Don't give up, don't back down, and most of all, we must go forward, not backward! 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 Thank you, brothers and sisters!
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce the President of the New York State United Teachers, Dick Iannuzzi.
Well, all right. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. And when I look out here, who do I see? I see teachers. I see support personnel. I see public employees, public workers, workers for the state, for the county, for the city. I see the people who keep this state strong. I see the private sector united with the public sector. I see unions. I see labor standing together the way it was meant to stand together. And more, what I see out here today is who we are, and we are New Yorkers. But just as important to being New Yorkers, sisters and brothers, I'm going to ask you who we are, and you're going to tell me, we are Wisconsin! Who are we? We are Wisconsin! Who are we? We are Wisconsin! Who are we? We are Wisconsin! Sisters and brothers, the seeds of what goes on in Wisconsin are easily planted in our own state, and we must be prepared to prevent that from growing. In the public sector, we can easily look out there right now at the attacks on seniority and the maintenance of contract clauses. The attack on seniority. Think about that. We have taken the hard work, the experience, the dedicated public servants and said, we're trashing who you are because it's cheaper to drop you. We cannot allow an attack on seniority in the public sector. We cannot let it happen. And in the private sector, we watch the attack on PLAs. When we look at the attack on these project labor agreements, we understand exactly what's going on. We are looking at private sector workers and saying, you know what? I could do it cheaper in an unhealthy and an unsafe way, and I'd rather do it that way. We cannot allow the attack on PLAs in the private sector either. And then I look again at the economy of our great state, and it is such a tragedy to look out there and to see those in the business world, in the corporate world, who take advantage of unbelievably unfair trade laws to go out and import products that are made by slave labor and made by child labor, when throughout our great state we have workers looking for those same very jobs. Let's be clear about one thing. What is going on in Wisconsin and what is going on in other states has nothing to do with deficits. It has to do with destroying the middle class and taking away the right to collective bargaining. This fight is not about deficits. This fight is about saving the middle class and saving the American dream for the middle class. We know that because in Wisconsin we see so clearly that the right-wing corporate America has bought everything that can be called Scott Walker, and he has sold everything that can be called Middle America. Sisters and brothers, today we stand united with our sisters and brothers in Wisconsin because we are part of a labor movement that will not be denied our place and our part of the middle class part of America. I'm saying to you clearly again, we stand united with them because Who are we? We are Wisconsin. Who are we? We are Wisconsin. Who are we? We are Wisconsin. God bless the labor movement. Let me bring up one of my leaders, Seth Cohen, to talk about how it is in the trenches. Seth, join us up here, please. Good afternoon. By day, I'm a public school teacher right across the river in Troy, New York. And I know that's the same kind of support I'm going to hear from my students next Monday. But why are we here? When I look around and I look at these signs, there's one key word that keeps coming back to me: support. We are here to support the public workers, public employees in Wisconsin, in New York, and all across the country. The roads last night were cleared by public employees. Our homes are made safe by public firefighters. Our streets are cleaned by public employees. School will open on Monday because of public employees. Now, we know that the average worker across the country is under a lot of pressure from this economic downturn. There's a lot of anger out there. There's a lot of fear. And that fear is being played out on the public employees of this country. But public employees and their unions did not cause the problem. In fact, it will be those same public employees and unions that come up with solutions to those problems. The governor of Wisconsin is trying to make public employees and their unions our enemies. He says the issue is health care costs. He says the issues are pensions in the budget. But we know that's not true. It isn't about budgets and pensions. It's about giving a voice to the men and women of Wisconsin and New York who educate our children and keep our streets safe. It's about having a say in the working conditions of the schools we're in the hospitals we keep clean. It's about the offices we keep running. This fight isn't about cutting the budget. It's about fair treatment. And it's about sitting at a table, at a bargaining table, as equals. It's about having the ability to talk with one voice to come up with solutions. It's about providing support for the public worker. We know 100 years ago, after the tragedy of Triangle Shirtwaist Fire in New York City, the same kind of rallies were occurring all across the country. In fact, my grandparents in Boston took up a collection to support the women and their families whose lives were destroyed by that fire. And out of that effort, in Boston, 100 years ago, a new local of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union was chartered. The same kind of support is happening today all across the country. Collective bargaining has worked in the past, and with your support, collective bargaining will again work and continue to work in the future. And not just for the men and women of New York, not just for the men and women of Wisconsin, but for my daughter and future generations like her. Our voice will not be silenced. Thank you.
So today is a day where we have labor and community joining together in a coalition. And with that, I'd like to bring up our next guest, Joe Seaman of MoveOn.org, here in solidarity with Wisconsin.
Well, folks, I'm a volunteer with the dangerous left-wing group MoveOn.org. I bring you a message from President Obama, George Soros, Van Jones, and Boris and Natasha Badenov. All hail Marx and Lenin. Well, no, just kidding. I'm as fond of Groucho Marx and John Lennon as the next guy, but that's not what this is all about. This is about the American dream. You know, you go to school, you work hard, and you hope to make a decent living, create a decent life for your family. That's pretty radical commie pinko stuff, ain't it? A middle-class life for your families and your communities? So who needs a middle class? Well, the corporate CEOs, they sure don't. Corporate profits are going up, while the middle class is taking a beating. Over the past 30 or 40 years, the American economy has grown, but we haven't benefited. The rich have gotten much richer, while our incomes after inflation have gone nowhere. And over the same time, union membership has declined. Not a coincidence. As unions prosper, so does the middle class. Unions created the middle class. Unions are essential to protecting it. Now, corporate CEOs want to turn us into a non-union third world economy. But unions are still strong among public servants. And the corporate CEOs, they don't like that. We all know corporate interests have lots of political power. And they own the Republican Party, lock, Wall Street stock, and oil barrel. Perhaps they own some of the Democratic Party too. And they don't have too much strong, organized opposition except unions. That's right. Unions are one of the bulwarks against the corporate power grab. And that's what this is all about. This is all about power. The corporate interests are grabbing it and we're losing it. Now, I could go on and on about corporate power, the decline of the middle class, the gap between rich and poor, but you've heard all this and you understand this. So, the corporate interests, they're right-wing politicians, they're trying to grab more power, but this time, in Wisconsin, they may have bit off more than they can chew. They may have awakened a sleeping giant. And that giant is you. That giant is us. Okay. These rallies are happening all over America, from Sacramento to Albany, every state capital, every major city, and we are standing up. So, what can we do if we want to stop this corporate power grab? There are a few things that we can do here. Now, in a democracy, we hope this is a democracy, protecting your families, your communities, your jobs, your unions, your environment, establishing justice and peace, it all comes down to ordinary citizens, that's us, claiming political power and winning elections. And there are elections coming up. There are some big ones coming up in 2012. In 2010, the corporate-funded right-wingers, they were in the game, they were knocking on the doors, in the streets, making the calls, you name it, and they won. And are we going to let them get the best of us in 2012? Damn right. Damn right. So find a campaign for president, Congress, legislature, mayor, dog catcher. Get involved. Find a political party. It might not be the same as mine. I'm with the Working Families Party. But find a party, get involved, get on a local committee. And maybe you want to run yourself. Give it some thought. We need some down-to-earth, populist, progressive candidates. And join your union's political action committee. Are there any unions here ready to sign you up? Okay. Join a group of like-minded citizens. You can't do it alone, but as a group, we really have a voice. Is there anybody here from Citizen Action? Okay. They've been working for justice, reform, for education, for our communities for years. Is there anybody here from Bethlehem Neighbors for Peace? They're leading the peace movement locally. Does anybody here belong to a religious congregation? Do you think that standing up for workers is at the core of your religion? Is there anybody here from the Labor Religions Coalition? Okay, get involved, folks. Now, for many years, as an activist, I've been hoping that there would be a real simple way that anyone, anywhere in America, could get involved and plug in to the progressive movement. There's got to be some easy way. Now, the closest thing that I know to this is MoveOn.org. Do you know what the website is? What's the website? Okay, thanks. Now, along with our partners here today, we've been part of a movement to expand healthcare, to switch to clean energy, to get corporate money out of politics, to end the wars, and sometimes even to elect progressives. So, we are over 5 million strong, and we're growing, and we are building local teams of activists right here in the Capital Region and all over. So, we need you folks to get involved. Sign up. Maybe you'll get a few more emails. You get so many already, what's the difference? Seriously, you'll be plugged into the largest grassroots group in America, organizing actions locally that are coordinated nationwide. So, whatever you do, step up, get in the game. Don't just be a participant, become an organizer. It's not that hard. I'm sure that you're going to get paid twice, 3 times as much as I'm getting paid. So, folks, Governor Walker, when he was talking to that blogger on the phone who pretended to be the billionaire Koch, he said that their moment is happening. Agenda! Are we going to bring back America? Are we going to defend working families? Are we going to strengthen the middle class? I'm with you, and I stand with you, and I stand with Wisconsin and the laborers in Wisconsin. You know, these are tough times. We all acknowledge that. But we also need to remember that a very few manipulated with their friends at the very top of the ladder and created a situation that tested America, her resilience, her ability to come back. And who's going to bring it back but labor and the middle class? That's who's going to bring it back. Workers did not cause this problem. They should not be the total solution. We should not balance our concerns, our budgets, on the backs of workers, on the unemployed, and the marginal in society. It's wrong, it's un-American, it's immoral. I say to you, this attack is one that has to be addressed by labor. We need to be heard. We need to be vigilant. Think of it. We do not need to feed the greed. We need to heed the need of America. America should not be about politics for the very few. It should be about policy for the many. This attack is one that is attempting to silence those of us who work for a living. It's an attack on middle-class workers. And so, my friends, I have questions for you. Will this attack help our economy? Will it create jobs? Does it help our children? Will this help us compete against nations that are pouring resources into education and innovation? Will this lead to a stronger middle class? Is it right to take away our right, American right, to organize? Will this lead to a stronger America. This is not being done with tax burdens in mind. It's not being done with community in mind. It is being done out of greed. We need to step it up. We need to energize the system. And so I stand with all of you today. Are you ready? Step it up. Move it on. Carry forth. Be vigilant. Stay energized. Be victorious. Be victorious. Be victorious. Let's win this one. It's an honor to stand with you. Let me now introduce a longtime friend, a fellow friend of labor, a person with whom I had the honor to serve with in the State Assembly. None other than your strong, loyal friend to labor, Assembly Member Bob Riley.
My voice obviously